You need audited. You need audited. Woo! Woo! How's everybody doing? The order of these videos is going to be all jumbled up. But right now, we got the fuel tank off of here. We're in the middle of shooting that video of cleaning this thing up. I have a weird step that I need this tractor running for that. So we got the old fuel can on here and everything else. Don't know if you guys saw it in the last video. I'll try to put in the clip here. But there was something that flew off this engine while my dad and I were sitting here idling it for the first time. And what that was this generator's belt. So I need to replace the belt on it. Also, while I'm here, I know I said I was going to try to keep things as original as possible, but spinning this thing over with 6 volts just isn't doing it. I want to convert it over 12 volts. So since the magneto and everything's already working, the only thing that the 12 volts is going to be running other than lights is the starter. But 6-volt generator isn't going to charge up a 12-volt battery. So I bought a conversion kit for this to convert this over to an alternator, a 12-volt alternator, to charge up our 12-volt battery. And then eventually we'll work on all the lights and everything and get them converted over. But I need to fix that. The water pump is still spinning because the water pump is a double pulley, and one of those pulleys is hooked up to the crank and the other pulley went up to the generator. There's a bad part about this though. I need to get that bottom belt off. Sounds easy. Every other engine in the world, you unbolt a fan, loosen up some bolts on the pulley, take the pulley off, take the belt off. Not this. This is a pulley that some engineer decided that it was a really good idea if the pulley itself acted like a CV clutch, where the pulley goes in and out from each other. But this one screws in to tighten up the belt on the bottom. So I gotta screw out that pulley somehow, get it loose, get it off the bottom pulley of the crankshaft, and then snake this belt around the fan to get it off, put on the alternator belt, put back on the generator belt, or I'm sorry, the water pump belt from the crank, and then retighten all these pulleys. That sounds like a nightmare. On top of that, radiator hoses. I don't think they're original from 1947, but they're definitely old and cracked and leaking. I can't keep radiator fluid inside of here, antifreeze, water, I don't know, jungle juice. I don't know what you guys run in your radiators, but this isn't holding it. The radiator itself isn't leaking, it's leaking out of the hoses. So I'm going to go ahead and replace those while I'm doing all this. Basically, this video is going to be addressing this entire area of the tractor. So, since we're going to attack that, I'm going to put you guys on a time lapse. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drain this radiator. I'm going to pop off the sheet metal. I'm debating whether I'm going to remove the radiator completely or not. To be honest, I'd sort of like to get better footage of how to unscrew these pulleys, because even trying to do the research and the little bit of videos that were done, they were done on like 11 years ago on a very crappy camera. I'd like to bring you guys in and actually show you what I'm doing. So hopefully we can do all that. But it's, according to the thermostat, 30 degrees in here. So I want to fire up my new heater, get it pointed at me, but it's too noisy to record with, and get this all torn apart, and then come back and check in with you guys when we're actually starting to get into the meat and potatoes of what I just said. So let's get to work. I still have my list. Right now, spark test, we passed it. Clean the carb, done. Clean the fuel tank, working on it. Fluids, working on it. we're working on the fluids in this video. Planning. Woo!
Hands are sore, night is long, almost all did it wrong. Walked away, cleared my head, came back late, tried again. One more turn, one more try.
So what we've done is we've taken off the generator, disconnected the wires for it, went ahead, put that in our old stockpile. I took off the top radiator hose. I had to use my knife, cut that out. The hose I ordered off of that website that used to only sell books is a bit too big. Also, I ordered hose clamps off that site also. They won't fit. So I need hose clamps, and I'm going to get a better hose for that top hose. My original plan was to pull this radiator off. I forgot that the steering shaft goes all the way through the radiator. I don't want to remove all that. So I'm going to try to replace this hose. I've already got it broken loose up on top here, and do that. That was the only hose leaking so far. Hopefully the other hoses, after we build up pressure, don't leak. Along with that, it's getting a little bit later. It's New Year's Eve today. I don't really want to get in here and start playing with all this when I'm probably going to go inside and enjoy New Year's Eve with my wife. But I'm going to bring you guys in closer, give you a preview of what we're working with, explain what we're going to do. I'm going to have to do a little bit of cleanup in here too, because just like the other side was with all that dirt that was on the carburetor, we have dirt built up in here from behind the generator that would have been hard to get. So I'm going to go ahead and knock that off while I'm in here. But let's bring you guys inside of here, explain how these pulleys work, and show you what we're going to have to do, because I'm just going to spray some deep creep on here and let it sit for a while. So this is our water pump pulley that goes down to the crankshaft all the way down there, and then the water pump pulley that would come out here to where you guys are to the alternator. You can see that it still has all the old belt still inside there that I got to fish out. But in between here, you'll notice a gap. This gap right here is actually a threaded area where you hit this lug on this pulley right here, and you knock this out. So it's going to sit here and widen the pulley and let the belt drop down lower. As soon as it's widened all the way up, the belt will drop down low enough that you can get it off of the crank pulley down on the bottom, and then you're able to change your belt. The bad part is, since this alternator pulley, or generator originally, is behind it, we have to go ahead and get this belt off of here just to get that belt on there. So I was originally going to replace this belt, and I still am going to, because it does have some cracks in it and everything on the other side. But in the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit here and spray a ton of deep creep in here. I'm just going to let it sit for a day or two as I wait for the parts to show up for the rest of the radiator and everything. That way I got the best shot of knocking this loose and getting this thing to move. So I'll come back to you guys after I let this spray and let it sit for a day or two, and then we'll see if we can get that broke loose and that belt off there. But I wanted to show you that this pulley design, you would think that you can just remove bolts from this side of the fan, but it doesn't have that. It has a spring and a clutch pack up here, even though it's basically a solid mounted fan. So also, to get this to break loose, we got to break loose this set screw. The set screw sits there and goes against the threads and makes sure that the pulley doesn't walk wider or shorter. So, all right, I'm going to start spraying this stuff down with Deep Creep, and I will see you guys in the next clip.
Cold floor, cold hands, 30 degrees, I'll make my stand. Old iron, older plans, this machine don't understand. Bolts don't move, belts don't bend, every fix turns into 10. A cold garage, old machine, still fighting just to make it breathe. Rusted
To the individual that designed the clutch style belt tensioner setup and decided that they're going to save money to not bolt this on. I understand. I respect my elders. I know this is from 1947 and it was designed back in the day, but you need audited. You need audited. Woo! Woo! This was to get this belt off. This belt. That's it. The crank to the water pump. Tractors are supposed to be simple to work on. That way, when they break down in the field, you can fix them. I needed a brass punch, a hammer, a pry bar, a strap. I literally put a strap around one of the fan blades, stood on the strap, and then you saw the brass punch coming in from the other side, and I was smacking it because you need a third hand to hold the fan blade from stopping it from spinning because it's stuck there because it needed to be tightened. And I'm sure whoever installed this last time went, they're never going to change that belt. Oh. Oh. This is my rant. This is my rant. Also, while we're on ranting things, belt companies. Good old belt companies. I'm sorry, but can we all agree that 21/30 seconds is not a easy fraction just off the top of my head? I am not Sheldon Cooper. That is 3/4. Let's stop putting 21/30 seconds and all that stuff on here. Let's make it that the highest denominator of the fraction that will go is 16. I mean, even then, 5/16 might give you a pause. 6/16, we can reduce that. We can make it into something, right? I get it. You're trying to be true and honest, not fake advertising. If anything, get on the lumber company for telling me that it's still a 2x4. Oh. I'm going to get the rest of this cleaned up. I'm going to have a smoke. Think about my life decisions. Ugh. I'll come back to you guys. Ugh. All right. So, I did order up an alternator kit for this thing. Even has instructions, which is nice. But basically, what it is, it came with our serpentine belt, some bracketry, a bit of wiring harness, and of course, an alternator. So we're going to be using this, installing this onto the tractor. I currently have all the pulleys and everything cleaned up with a wire brush. My newly favorite thing to hate of a pulley is moving nice and cleanly there. So I'm going to get this mounted up first and get this lined up with the back pulley on the tractor and get it going. And then I'm going to fight the belts, get these over the fan blades inside of there, and go ahead and do that. So the way that this mounts, the bracket that I removed that held the original generator, those 2 bolts, will go through these holes, and then these 2 holes adjust your up and down motion of the bottom of the alternator right here. So this will mount onto there, this will mount onto here, and then this will be the engine block. Or, I'm sorry, flip that over. And then that will be the engine block, the table would be. So we'll have adjustability forward and aft on the tractor and up and down. And then this bracket hooks up to the other side of the alternator where we get to swing it out and tension up our belt. So let's get these things installed, see what we can do. So, got our new alternator on there. Got both of our belts. I didn't subject you guys to the glorious design of that. But got a new radiator hose up on top. Filled it back up with antifreeze. So far, it doesn't look like it's leaking. Hopefully. Got our gas can hooked back up. Give a couple squeezes of gas. Make sure the carb has gas. Right now, I have just the 1 wire coming over to this side of the switch, which goes instantly to the battery. I don't have any of the amperage gauge or anything hooked up. I'm not worried about that right now. All I want to make sure is that the alternator is actually working. And to do that, I'm going to grab the multimeter. And while it's sitting here running, I'm going to check to make sure that we're actually charging this battery. Again, hiding tools from myself. So, let's see if we can get this thing fired up and idling, which it's fought me in the past. Let's see what it's feeling like today. Everything's clear.
Late night lights, battery low. Walk away, come back slow. Compromise, old machine, still alive, still runs clean. Not perfect, but it's mine. Compromise, old
Oh, come on, you old... Well, okay. Or I'll let it sit, put the charger back on this battery. Let it sit, think about its decisions and my decisions. It's been a rough day. And we'll try to fire it up again. All right. To be honest with you, got way too comfortable on the couch. Started watching a show or two. And took the rest of the afternoon off. Now it's in the middle of the night. Well, not the middle of the night, but it's later at night. Let's get this battery all the way back on. See if we can see if this thing works. Okay, gave it a little bit more throttle than what we did. We're on choke. There we go. Got 12.6, 12.1, 12.6.2, 3, 4. Fully off choke now. See how we're doing on radiator fluid. Doing all right. Need to give it some more gas. I didn't keep up with the gas. Should have done that. Try that again. Choke. There we go. Keep it running. Got a little bit of mist out of one of the cylinders, but that's to be expected. It is less than 30 degrees out here. It does not want more throttle. All right, let's get it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get it up and running, and then I'm going to try to get it some temp in it. I want this radiator fluid, and I want the thermostat to open up and get going. So I'll check back in with you guys after it's been running for a minute, gets a little bit warm, get some heat into it, see what we can do with it. I won't let you sit here and listen to it the entire time. Need to get more gas in this can too. But yep, be right back. Well, here she is idling. She's doing a beautiful job idling. It's amazing. My dad's talked about it before, and a couple of you have posted it in the shorts, just how amazing it is, how low of idle these tractors have. Our alternator seems to be working. Let's go ahead, turn on our multimeter again. Attach this on here. Yep, 12.77. We were down at 12.5 earlier. So we're slowly but surely charging. Even at this low of RPM, it's pumping a little bit of juice into that battery, which is exactly what I wanted to do. Again, we didn't need to go up to 12 volts, but as you guys saw, especially with the low compression that we have in these cylinders, it needs all the help it can get. What I'm going to do is I'm going to end out this video here. My closing shots will show you guys a little bit of overall of what we've done, but I'm going to let this thing sit here and run for a little bit, bottle feed it, quite literally, and warm up, let the thermostat open up, get the radiator bled, and get ready to move on to the gas tank for the rest of the style. That's going to be the next video on this gas tank. I've already started shooting halfway through it. That's obviously off of here, but I got to clean it out of all of its rust and get rid of this good old gas jug and needing to sit here and bottle feed the tractor. But radiator, antifreeze is warming up. It's going over. It's starting to come out the weep hole or come out the vent, which it should. Oil pressure's looking good. Can't really complain. But that'll do it for this week. Thank you all. If you could leave a like, subscribe, that'd be amazing. Really helps me out. And I'll see you guys next week. Good old girl. Good old girl.